Welcome back to Glanigors, where next out on track it's the fiercely competitive Junior X30s. Just 2 points separates the top 4 in the championship, with Lorenzo Cordal in second, chasing Sam Shaw in first. Earlier on, I asked the Cato Motorsport man if he thinks that this weekend maybe he could take the top spot.
Under the awning this weekend is Cato, who's telling us the setups, driver coaching me, and just making us go as fast as possible. I've had quite a bit of bad luck this season with a few collisions, but there's nothing I could really do about it. At least I'm only 1 point behind in the championship, and I've still got a very good chance.
Go through turn. Oh, contact! Lorenzo Cordal's been spat out of the queue!
To beat Sam Shaw this weekend, I've got to just drive as quick as I can and fight my hardest with him.
Well, let's see how Lorenzo does as we head on up to the commentary with your commentators, Jake Sanson and Alan Tadei.
So we're getting ourselves ready for Junior X30. Connor Duncan and Sam Shaw from Lorenzo Cordal and Leo Brown, Gabriel Stilp, Benjamin Doughty, Sam Baker, Zaki Hussein, Archie Clark, Kyan Gohill and Thomas Wainwright. We are up and running, and immediately Sam Shaw loses ground as Connor Duncan gets through, and Shaw is going to lose out down to about 4th or 5th position by the time we get there, but even we're not going to hold the lead. Connor Duncan is going to drop back to 3rd, 4th, 5th if we're not careful. Is that Gabriel Stilp on the inside having got through? I think it is 6th.
6th place, Jake. That is a dreadful start for Connor Duncan. However, a bit like we said in the IAMI Super Cadet race at Wigan last year, where we saw Nathan Ty lose a load of places at the start, but said that his experience meant that the red mist, he didn't allow the red mist to descend.
No, indeed.
He kept with it, and the same could be said for Connor Duncan. That's Ben Doughty and Sam Shaw picked out in 2nd and 3rd. But I expect Connor here to just get himself into the race. You can see him there going under the drone in 6th place at the moment, but let's see where he goes from there.
Yeah, it's a long race. You can't win it on the first lap, but all you need to do is set yourself up for a fight back, and he is one of the drivers that could get this back into the first position. So he needs to set up Leo Brown first and foremost, then he needs to go after Gabriel Stilp, then set up Sam Shaw, then set up Ben Doughty. There's a lot of work still to do, and he can make it happen. Great opportunity, though, here for the likes of the teammates Ben Doughty and Gabriel Stilp. Ben Doughty, I have to say, what a second half to 2021 he is having. He's really stepping up the bid in terms of confidence. Don't forget that if Connor Duncan takes the victory in this one, he's going to head to the points lead, so that is even more motivation for him to work his way back up through the field.
Yeah, if he wins this, that's Leo Brown picked out in front of him on the Jack Dex racing machine up the inside. Great pictures again from the 360-degree camera.
And that's 5th position, so that's one of the drivers picked off. Now he's going to go after Gabriel Stilp, who's had another steady successive season, a busy program for him this year, racing in UKC and out in Europe, as of course is Ben Doughty as well. So it's been a very interesting campaign for 2021. Again, you've got to give it to all of these drivers who are still balancing their race programs for this motorsport season, whilst also dealing with all the challenges that the pandemic or the pindemic, whatever you want to call it, is. They're still doing an incredible job of managing all of that as they go. Gabe Stilp up in front, 4th position on the march. If we can get there on the inside, that'll do. This is becoming a signature move now for Connor Duncan. He's just needing to do this every single lap. Just get the run out of turn 1, use the toe, get up the inside, into spoon, leave no doubt, and get it all sorted.
Absolutely. Lorenzo Cordal out front is one of the main championship contenders here. Interviewed him earlier. And bear in mind, Jake, of course, there's only two points between the top 4 in the championship.
There is indeed.
You know, the man leading it was Sam Shaw, then you got Cordal, Duncan and Stilp. Those 4 drivers, just 2 points between them coming out of the last round, and that's the championship leader in front of us now, Sam Shaw on the 2 kart.
This definitely isn't going to be a dominant title victory for any of the 4 of them. Junior X30 really will go down to the final lap of the final race weekend of the season in Ultimate Karting Championship, the way things are currently going. Sam Shaw stepping up the attack, trying to get one over on Ben Doughty. Ben Doughty picked him out earlier, but he is having a terrific end to the season. Of course, next week he will travel to Genk in Belgium to finish off his Euro Series campaign as well. So he's a busy boy, keeping himself very quick and very rapid on both sides of the channel. So he's having a wonderful season run here, and this is his best performance so far in the Ultimate Karting Championship this season, and I'm sure he and the whole crew would dearly love to have him on the rostrum. Look at the speed that Connor Duncan's able to carry. As Ben Doughty, is that going for the lead? He tries, and unfortunately that's going to cost him. Sam Shaw's going to get there instead. Doughty just a tiny bit hesitant, and that was enough to throw off momentum. Shaw going for the lead on Cordle from third to first in 2 corners. Take a bow, Sam Shaw.
Down Damon Hill into the carousel. Sam Shaw has taken 2 drivers in 2 turns and now goes from third to first in a heartbeat. So the championship leader now out front, and that is where he wants to be.
That's not where Connor Duncan wants him to be. He really didn't want Sam Shaw to get to the front of the field. Duncan is in 4th place. He's got to pick off Doughty and Cordle now before he gets close to Sam Shaw. It might have been a little easier than that if Shaw hadn't made the move stick. But watch out, Cordle still has a chance. Shaw has about a kart length going into the braking zone, which dissipates obviously as they come off the turn, but that's enough to thwart any opposition Cordle might have been able to throw at him into Spoon Curve. Connor Duncan, though, fastest man on track, 43.008. He is working hard to get one over on Doughty.
Again, less numbers this weekend because of the clash with another championship. But again, look at this, 11 drivers in the field. Look at the top 6, maybe 7 there, picked out from the drone.
It's not dull, is it?
The drone just gives us, at this circuit, the best drone images of anywhere we go. Up the inside, and another spot. Doughty drops one, and Connor Duncan moves up one.
Oh, and this could be a chance for Brown. Brown gets there. He does make the move on Ben Doughty. Now, Doughty's got to be careful here because he caught the curb on exit. Stilp's going to get the run as well, so Stilp is through. That's unfortunate. Doughty, a couple of laps ago, had a chance to take the lead, and now he slips to 6th. This is why we keep saying it. This sport is not dull. It's not boring. It can change on a heartbeat, and you really have got to keep your wits about you. Now Archie Clark for the Cato Motorsport team. He's lining up his move to try and get through on the inside line of Ben Doughty. So it can really change in a heartbeat.
Fantastic racing. Zaki Hussain going through the picture with Tom Rain right there as well. And then Kyan Gohill going through to finish out the top 10. But the leading drivers, you've got 3 now starting to get away from the man in 4th place. That's Leo Brown. But Brown should close that gap because they will start battling out front of him.
Well, that he will close on them unless Gabriel Stilp can work with teammate Ben Doughty and they can catch up and pass. If Stilp passes Leo Brown, then guess what we have then? We have the 4 title contenders potentially in the top 4 places. So that's what Stilp's got his heart set on in 5th position, trying to close up on Leo Brown. Fair play to Leo, though. He's right up at the sharp end, taking names and running with the pack. But Shaw, Cordle and Duncan. Duncan has a look. Cordle has a look instead on Shaw. This is going to be heart-stopping stuff as they battle away. They come off of Spoon, down the drop, up towards Damon Hill. And this is going to be through the carousel. Oh, this is so tricky. Shaw, Cordle, Duncan up the compression complex now. 1 apex right, 2 apex right, 3 apex right, and then they'll come through that tight left hairpin that you can actually carry a fair bit of speed once you've dealt with the 3rd part of the compression complex. Devil's Elbow drops, then into the left, into the final turn and back onto the start-finish straight once again. It's one of the shortest start-finish straights we have in British karting, but it definitely sets up an amazing charge up the hill. Cordle maybe about to lose the place here. Duncan committed and in the inside line into 2nd place. Great run from Connor Duncan.
And that is probably enough to actually give him the championship lead, 2nd place, but he won't be happy with that. He won't be content. He'll be looking to overtake Shaw because there's some points to be had. If he can overtake Shaw, he scores more points. Shaw scores less points, and that certainly will ensure, you know, we know already from the graphic, if he wins this race, he leads the championship. As things stand at the moment, he leads the championship anyway in 2nd place, but he'll have a bigger lead if he can get in front of the man out front of the race at the moment. The kart in front of him, the premium karting driver, Sam Shaw, if he gets past him, that's a bigger point swing.
Totally. Ask any racing driver, do you want to consolidate in 2nd or do you want to go for the race win? Yeah, he wants to go for the race win. He's a racing driver. He doesn't want to finish 2nd. He will be pushing Sam Shaw very hard indeed, especially now considering that we are getting to the closing stages. Connor Duncan, having had a difficult start, went into turn 1 in 1st, ended up at the top of Damon Hill in P6 on lap 1. But he has not panicked, he has not overdriven the kart, he's just ticked them off one by one, just 1 kart at a time, 1 lap at a time, 1 apex at a time, and now he is on the hunt after Sam Shaw, and on the main straight here. He's going to have a chance. Look, he's already nudging. He's got good speed, good pace. Shaw's going to be bolted to the inside line. But this is enough pressure from Connor Duncan on Sam Shaw to know, I'm on you. You blink one way in the wrong direction and I've got you.
Yeah, you just saw a little bit of a nudge there. No damage. There won't be a front nose fairing penalty with that. It wasn't strong enough, but it was just strong enough to let Sam Shaw know somebody is right behind me. He may not have had a look to see exactly who it is. He might be surprised to see Connor Duncan, but he'll know somebody's there, that's for sure, after that little move.
And it's that internal Jaws theme that ticks around in your head, isn't it? You know you're being hunted down. You know that just that little bit of a push, that little bit of a nudge. He's going to try. He has another look at it. Doesn't go for it yet. He's trying to make Sam Shaw sweat. Shaw is defending that inside line. The whole field is tightening up. Shaw, Duncan, Cordell, Brown, Stilt, Doughty, and now Archie Clark is trying to close in on them as well. So this is going to be a tight battle to the flag, but Duncan is doing all the right things here. Now he's going to try. He doesn't quite get the move on the inside line. Shaw is keeping it resolute and very sturdy in the front. But every time Duncan just nudges the back bumper of Shaw, that is another bead of sweat. That's another potential mistake. It's another slight worry for Sam Shaw. He's all over me. I cannot afford a single error.
Connor Duncan's under pressure himself, though, at least was. It's Cordell's dropped back slightly, but gets closer again as they come into the spoon, and that's because Sam Shaw's now defending down the inside of the spoon.
Yeah, we're running out of laps, and Sam Shaw knows that if he tries to just back Duncan in, he's basically hoping that Cordell gets on the inside line. The second Cordell gets on the inside line, Shaw will stop defending because he'll hope that the momentum of those two will give him a couple of kart lengths breathing space, and that will be enough momentum to get him away for a couple of laps more. But Duncan is not going to give Cordell any space to go for the move himself. Final turn, home stretch, and on through turn one again, back on the toe, running out of time. Duncan has a game plan here. Shaw hanging on the inside line, nudge, inside line, there's the gap, that's enough. Shaw cutting across, and Duncan's going to have him.
Oh, and Shaw's going to drop back here to fourth, fifth maybe, down to fifth.
Oh, he's
he goes
trying
from
to
first
resist.
to fifth.
He tried to resist, that's the problem. He would have lost less time if he just let Connor Duncan go. He would have dropped to second, maybe third at worst, but now that hesitation, that resistance has put him down to fifth with very little time still left in this race.
Contact between, it was side on, so I don't think that would be a fairing penalty for Connor Duncan. It was side to side contact, the two wheels lucky potentially to get away with that, could easily have gone over the top of Sam Shaw's kart there, but Duncan is through, and the man in the pink helmet, as we said before, Jake, only real men can wear pink.
Indeed.
And Connor Duncan, the real man, is out front.
And that's going to be an extension of the championship lead. On the inside, a big lunge from Gabriel Stilp. Thank you very much, says Sam Shaw. He gets through into fourth place. And now we have the four title contenders in the top four places. Duncan, Cordell, Stilp, Shaw. They are going to be absolutely on it. And if there's going to be a big move from Cordell on Duncan in the final lap, then we are going to have a four-way melee for the victory. It's going to be very tight in the closing stages. But look at that, Archie Clark has now got onto the toe of the six now as well. Ben Doughty gesturing to Archie. We can close in on these guys. We can make a move or two. Duncan, braking zone for Spoon. Cordell getting a good run off the turn. Down Damon Hill, up to the carousel. Lorenzo Cordell, second position, but he's been quite quiet in this race actually. He's been biding his time. He hasn't pulled out his killer move yet.
The elevation change from the top of Damon Hill to the bottom is something like 14 feet. It's 24 feet from the top of the circuit to the final straight that we're on now. So from here to the top of the circuit, 24 feet is the elevation change, the biggest elevation change of any kart circuit in Europe, Jake. Probably the world.
I can't think of any that really goes up to as high as 24 feet. On the inside, Cordell. What a move as Shaw pulls off the same one on Stilp. Cordell through to first, Shaw through to third, Duncan back on the inside, gets back through on Lorenzo Cordell. These two keep scrapping. Shaw and Stilp are going to be on them like a ton of bricks.
They will indeed, but Connor Duncan's just done exactly what he has to do. He can't afford to sit there and think, all right, I've lost the lead. I'll give you half a lap, I'll have a look at you. He wants to be back in front. He doesn't want the guy, he knows it's close behind. He knows there's a queue of karts. He can't afford to be sitting there in second, get blocked, and then come onto their radar with Sam Shaw behind him.
Well, that has taken the wind out of Caudle's sails a little bit. He's dropped back enough that he's not going to be a threat into the spoon curve on this lap. So this is a very good opportunity now for Connor Duncan to sit in and consolidate in the lead of the race. He doesn't have to panic too much about Caudle. He opened up a 0.3 of a second gap just by that immediate retaliation, because you don't automatically expect it in the next corner once you've taken a move like that. That was a stunner from Caudle, but Duncan was absolutely determined. No, you're not having this lead, no chance.
Well, again, brilliant driving by Caudle to get the position, brilliant driving by Connor Duncan, and I use that word advisedly. I don't bandy that word around, but it's exactly what it was. Brilliant, great driving by the pair.
So Duncan versus Caudle. One more lap of great race action between them. Sam Shaw trying to catch them up. Gabriel Stilp in 4th place. Kudos for Archie Clark. He has caught and passed both Leo Brown and Ben Doughty to move up into 5th position. Good work.
And bear in mind that Ben Doughty, Jake, earlier in the race, we saw him trying to go for the lead at that point, and then he's going for the lead. He lost a couple of places, and now he's back in 7th.
Yep, it's a tough race. It's a tough battle. It doesn't matter how many drivers you get. And to the final couple of corners, it's going to be a tough one, but Duncan is going to take it from Caudle, Shaw and Stilp. Doughty does fight back to 5th in the end, in front of Brown and Clark. What a final corner that was for the three. Patience, the ultimate virtue for Connor Duncan. He takes the win in front of Lorenzo Caudle, Sam Shaw and Gabriel Stilp, the 4 title contenders in the top 4 places. Ben Doughty, a solid comeback from 5th position. Leo Brown P6 ahead of Zaki Hussein and Archie Clark, who receives a post-race penalty, sadly. Thomas Wainwright and Sam Baker in the top 10. Great race.
Well, commiserations to Sam Shaw, leading for so long in that one, but one little mistake cost him dearly. He salvaged 3rd, Lorenzo Caudle got 2nd, but the man out in front who's going to be pleased, Connor Duncan. Here's what he had to say at the podium.
Connor, back-to-back wins, Larkhall last time, Glannygorse Park this time. Great final for you today. It was close, but you came out on top. Just talk us through the race.
Yeah, I went into the first corner in pole, managed to get through into first. Then going into the second corner at the top end, I opened the door, went back to 6th and then fought my way back up from there. It was a close finish, but managed to come home with the win.
Yeah, and any time you drop back to 6th and come back like you did, it's always a fantastic result. Who do you want to thank for your weekend?
I'd like to thank my dad, my mum, Red Raff Racing and Paul Carr for the amazing engines.
Okay, well done.
Thank you.
This Junior X30 title fight has more twists and turns than an Agatha Christie novel. Connor Duncan 10 points clear of Sam Shaw for the moment, but Lorenzo Caudle and Gabriel Stilp are right in there. And once Brandon Carr returns, he's going to be providing some firepower for the end of the season. Archie Clark and Leo Brown fighting for the title of best of the rest with Doughty, Hussein and Baker. This has all the makings of a classic.
Junior X30 racing at its best, and after the break it's some of our most experienced drivers in the Senior X30s.